Welcome back to the LPL. We're now looking into the Hangzhou arena for IG versus LGD. Of course, LGD's arena Hangzhou has seen it once before. And now we're going to see a little bit of opening ceremony, a little bit of celebration, a little bit of happiness coming in, waiting for the teams to get ready for this. And for LGD, this is such an important matchup. So far, they have had very little success throughout the split. And, you know, last split adding on to it, it doesn't paint a very pretty picture, but LGD have been working hard. They've been making a lot of roster swaps. They've been trying to adjust their playstyle a little bit, and they want to come in here and prove that they are worthy of being in the LPL, that they can get these wins, that they can improve as a unit. And everyone looking so serious. They know the responsibility on their shoulders. They know everything is riding on them because it's a hard schedule for them coming up, and, you know, they've really got to get that first win still.
Yeah, if you're looking at the LPL as an entirety, the only team left that has not had a series match win is LGD. So if you look at the score right there, only 20% win rate over a course of 10 games. And today is a matchup where they are fighting the odds against Invictus Gaming, the World Championships of 2018. It is, without sugarcoating it, one of the top teams versus probably the bottom teams of the LPL, and we just want to see improvements for LGD. That's I think the bar is set pretty low, but we just want to see signs of life and some fight in them.
Yeah, they don't need to blow us all away today. They might. That's what we're hoping for. We're obviously hoping. If IG loses to LGD, this will be one of the biggest upsets in League of Legends history. So, I mean, hold on to your pants. But what we really want to see from them is a little bit more adaptation, a little bit more work towards a style that benefits them. Because the problem they've been having so far is they either die a lot or they just don't find success, and, you know, they've swapped around their roster a lot recently to try and mitigate the problems they've been having with those series losses and the game losses.
The biggest problem for LGD right now is that they have a win condition in Kramer in the late game. They've played most of their games on the Kai'Sa just to get him to a carry point, but they cannot hold on to the early and mid. They die far too frequently in these phases of the game, and even when they're behind, they're still looking for kills and looking for fights. They're known as a very scrappy team, a chaotic team, but it hasn't been working out for them. It hasn't been working towards their win condition. They die on average 18 times in a single game. That is the highest of the LPL by far, and what we've seen for them is that they swapped out the Reaper himself, PYL. He's known as the Lord of Death, the Reaper, because he dies a lot. You've seen this in our intro video where he does have the Grim Reaper with a scythe standing right behind him. That's where the meme comes from, and they swapped him out for RD. So far, however, though, they still have not stopped the deaths. If you combine RD and PYL, they have 48 deaths in total over 10 games, and that would be the highest in the LPL. And they actually have the highest, the member with the highest deaths on their roster currently as well in Yuuki, who's been one of their shining laning players. He's done great. He's had worked with the solo kills very well. He has probably the highest mechanical ceiling of the team, but he's being very impatient in the mid game. He's being caught out a lot, so that's what I want to see change. You do have a win condition, LGD. You can sit back and try to play towards Kramer carrying in that late game. I want to see that happen for them, just for them to have a little bit more patience in this new year of the boar.
They just need to stop dying, man. I mean, sometimes it's that simple, you know, when you're growing up in solo queue as a little bronzy, you know, one of the big pieces of advice you get is don't die so much. It's kind of, I feel, where LGD needs to take a look and be like, why are we dying so much? What exactly are we doing? Because they have some decent stat lines, and Yuuki, like you said, is really their shining star. I mean, he has the #1 solo kills in the entire league, which is insane, especially on this team.
And it's so fun to watch him go up against someone like Rookie, you know, because both of them have very similar champion pools. The Zoe, the Akali, and the LeBlanc that we're seeing from Yuuki have been phenomenal. He's able to get himself ahead in the laning phase pretty consistently. It's just about the middle parts of the game where if he can hold on a little bit longer, I feel like this might be one of our up-and-coming mid laners that could really be the star and the face for LGD.
He has a similar role and goal here to Icon, I think. When Icon last year, OMG was trying to set him up as the franchise player, because you have this mid laner who's so mechanically talented. You have this mid laner who's able to get these 1v1 pickoffs and do so much for the team, but doesn't really have the support system around him. If Yuuki is able to develop as a player, suddenly things might start falling into place around him, and suddenly now that we know LGD is able to make big changes like subbing out PYL, something they've been for a long time unwilling to even consider, it might be looking really up for LGD as a whole, and especially Yuuki, but he's got a rough path ahead of him, especially this game, because he's going to be going up against one of the best mid laners in the world in Rookie.
Yeah, Rookie has a couple of solo kills underneath his belt as well, and pretty much on the same champions, which is going to be the interesting thing to look for. The Blanc, like we were talking about, excuse me, for that little blunder right there, has been phenomenal for Rookie. Even though sometimes he has been outplayed in this split 2019, things are going to look up after the Chinese New Year. All of our top teams do this in the LPL. Before the Chinese New Year, you know, there's a lot of fooling around, a lot of probably not taking scrims, no, I shouldn't say that, but probably not taking things as seriously as they should. But after the Chinese New Year, all bets are off. Everyone is back in their bases. Everyone is ready, prepped and geared up and ready to go. So I feel like Invictus Gaming, after these 2 weeks, they're going to evolve. They're going to showcase a new side that we haven't seen, and I want to see that intensity come back into their game.
Well, this mid lane matchup is where I want to look, because if you think about it, if you think about the loss IG suffered, it was because for once they didn't have control of the lanes. For once the lane kingdom had fallen. There was a little bit of rubble surrounding their castle. And if someone's going to be able to do it, it's going to be the guy who's got the most solo kills in the league, the guy who's able to 1v1. If you can shake Rookie, maybe you can get Ning off his game. And then suddenly, maybe Duke might have trouble in the top lane. Maybe the whole team starts crumbling a little bit. A little bit of cracks start showing. And that's what LGD wants to go for. They really want to demonstrate that they have what it takes to even a little bit threaten the best team in the world.
That's a lot of maybes, but I got one thing certain for you. I feel like LGD this time around, they probably will win the bot lane. That's something I'm looking forward to. Kramer is starting today, but for Invictus Gaming side, they're actually playing West. Jackie Love is not starting in today's matchup, so that's somewhere that I feel with Kramer's body of work so far in the LPL, he could get an advantage. And even if Yuuki doesn't win out that hard with the Assassin matchup, there is a chance that they could finally go back to their win condition that they set for themselves and set up Kramer to hard carry them.
And that might actually force them to slow down.
Yeah.
Right, because if your only side of the map that's winning is bot lane, suddenly it's a little bit harder to go towards those really aggressive plays, because you're like, if I do this, I just die and then Rookie takes my tower. Maybe I'll wait. Kramer, what do you think, buddy? And he'll be like, yeah, I'd like to live this game. I don't know about you guys, so let's not do that. Let's wait a little bit. And I'd really like to see LGD take a step back. You know, foot off the gas a little bit. Maybe do some meditation, some Tai Chi, you know, a little bit of yoga before the match. Just deep breathing exercises. I don't know what it takes. I'm not LGD. I'm not their coach, but we know that their big problem so far is dying. And against IG, admittedly, that's a scary problem to have. But it's one that's not insurmountable.
That's the fun thing about the matchup. I know a lot of you viewers out there are going to be going like, oh, it's IG versus LGD. Why should I say? I actually want to see the body count by the end of this game, because Invictus Gaming have the most kills per game out of any team of the major regions. They're sitting at 17.9 kills a game. Now, for LGD, they're sitting at 18 deaths a game. So at the very least, if our statistics don't lie, we should be seeing 36 body bags. And that's a lot of action.
We might be off 0.1. So we might have like someone.
Oh no, it actually could
like
be like 0 and 18. So yeah, but it's still gonna be a high octane game. This is supposed to be a matchup where there's gonna be a lot of flying skill shots, a lot of chaos, a lot of kills happening, and that's what we love to watch.
That's what the LPL's about, man. When it comes down to it, when you watch the LPL, one of the most fun things is just the visceral, raw excitement that the games bring about. It doesn't matter what tier of play you're watching. Something's going to happen where you're like, what? What actually was that? And that's what we're hoping for from this matchup. But hopefully it's a positive for LGD.
Yeah, no, it's to be honest, it's very easy for LGD to show growth. That's you know, not part of the question. We've talked about Kramer. He's been doing very, very well in the bot lane. He's carrying the team in terms of damage share. They've also swapped out their top lane. As we're seeing right now, it's not. It was Eris playing a couple of weeks ago, and now it is Lies coming back into the roster. He's more known for something like the Jax and the Urgot player on the team. And we also have the 2017 Finals MVP in Condi, so he could still make a big difference in this roster.
Yuuki and Kramer and RD we've already touched on quite significantly. They're just going to be rounding out the bottom side of the map and hopefully buoying their team a little bit up, keeping them afloat. But IG, you know them, you love them. Duke in the top lane, Ning in the jungle, Rookie mid lane, West subbing in for Jackie Love on AD carry, and Baolan, of course, rounding out their team on support.
You know, West, for me, has always been one of those underrated players. It's probably because they're going up against LGD, they're going to give him a breath of fresh air. But West really isn't that bad of a player, to be honest. I feel like his name was a bit tainted because of the qualifiers that they did miss against WE. But in terms of his performances when he has shown up in 2018 and 2019, they've actually been quite rock solid. The picks that we're looking for are probably things like the Sivir, more teamfight-oriented champions. And for Kramer, on the other hand, we have to mention again, Kai'Sa is going to be the go-to pick for LGD. They really have most of the eggs into that bot lane basket. They want him to hard carry from that side.
I mean, this is a chance for both teams to grow when we look at it, because, yeah, LGD have a lot more growing to do, to be fair, but for IG, having a secondary AD carry that you can trust as much as you trust Duke to sub in versus the Shy, that opens up a lot of opportunities. You know, if Jackie Love is getting tilted mid-series, you can bring in West and let him kind of give Jackie Love a mental reset. And this is something that when IG, if they're able to make it through playoffs, which I don't really have much doubt of, but you gotta say, just in case, if they make it through playoffs, if they get to those international best of fives, that's something that's really powerful.
Having a backup is always good, and that's kind of a tried and true saying. And in the LPL, we do see a lot of these roster swaps happening. It happens with RNG and Uzi as well. He sits out for the majority of the pre-Chinese New Year phase. And a lot of teams are choosing to run 10-man rosters. WE is known for that. Other combinations, they like to have very deep benches, and there's always a developing pool of players that they can use. Injuries are still a thing, and that's what I see Invictus Gaming really doing with the subbing West in this time.
Yeah, LGD now starting off the bans, pretty standard. Aatrox and Zoe, they just want to get those off the field. And Tom Kench, honestly, that ban is kind of surprising. I feel like they'd have other priorities.
Yeah, with Rakan being nerfed quite heavily, Tom Kench is probably Baolan's best champion left, so I do respect that. I think what this signals is that LGD, they want to basically blow up the bot side. The Olaf is a great pick to do that as well. One of the best bot lane gankers.
Now IG, they're going to look to bolster their solo lane there with the Urgot, a fairly safe pick. The bottom lane as well. Ezreal, able to farm from range, able to fight from range. He's a fairly safe pick as far as things go, but it can also put out a bit of aggression. A lot of poke coming out from the queue. So LGD now, if they want to go towards that bottom side focus, now is when they can pick up an AD carry and support combo.
And just to mention to everyone, this is patch 9.2, so Ezreal, there's still a large selection of AD carries that do exist. The AD carry changes in terms of crit items have not hit this patch yet. Kai'Sa still abound. We still see a lot of basically Kai'Sa being picked, and the Lucian as well. And another point to note is that Frostomancy has been retroactively patched out of this patch. So you do have the buddy system with the Frostfangs. Do not expect that to show up in the solo lanes.
Now LGD securing one of their solo lanes in the Lissandra. With a lot of lockdown. This is one of the champions Yuuki got a solo kill on. So there's still the chance for the explosion. But Rookie bringing out the tried and true Syndra when he just wants to style on a matchup. He's always got that in the back pocket.
It was one of his go-to picks for Rookie all these years. Whenever he wants to win lane hard, Syndra is one of those picks that's very hard to fit in a specific composition, but she always does secure the lane for you. So that's the mentality for IG. They are the lane kingdom. As long as that flies, it's good, and they can team up with a strong carry pick for Ning. And the one I'm looking forward to is the Kayn.
Of course, the Kayn did have those changes in 9.2, making the transformation a little bit easier to achieve. IG, a lot of focus on that bottom lane, as we suspected. They want to get rid of the easy engage from the Thresh Alistar. We saw this in the previous series as well. But LGD, taking out the Camille, taking out that easy level 2 gank for Ning. They don't want him getting in the way.
The Tom Kench was a very telling ban coming out from LGD and their game plan so far. So I like Invictus Gaming's response. We pick something super safe for the bot lane. The Ezreal, you're going to have a hard time ganking that no matter who you pick. And then IG, once more, like you said, they take away most of the hard engage options in the bot side to prevent those kills from the Olaf coming in. And like we were talking about, it could be the Kayn that's picked in here. If you have a winning mid lane already, why not go for something that's very good in the 2v2? Aww.
That's not Kayn.
No, it's not.
A little bit bummed out by that, but it will be an interesting pick up there for Ning.
Still still a very good carry champion, and something that we've seen being selected into the Olaf quite often. Now, early game, you still don't have that that 1v1 dueling potential if you get hit by one of those undertows, but later game, you're such a strong carry threat, and that really does compound over the late game weakness of Olaf as a pick.
Now, that Yorick, of course, just got buffed on the most recent patch, so he has a lot stronger split push potential, a lot better trading in lane with the extra Graves. And RD potentially going to pick up the Veigar again. Or not.
He's thinking about it. Jarvan's support, you know, with the buff to Demacian Standard does give you a lot of attack speed.
Nope.
Nope. He's just going back to something.
For the Gragas.
Yep. Standard pick right here. Can poke out. Has engaged potential. Now, when we're talking about RD's champion pool, he typically does go for things that are more unorthodox, mainly mage type of champions. The Veigar, the Fiddlesticks, and the Morgana were his go-tos. And once again, we're going to see something more mage-oriented, AP-focused, but it's a tried-and-true strategy combination with the Kai'Sa. You can proc stacks very easily, get those plasma stacks onto the enemy with your hard CC on Gragas. So no surprises there. And Baolan with a counter pick to the Gragas, you can block down the explosive cast, the ultimate coming in from the Gragas with your Unbreakable. Keep that Ezreal alive. So I think IG has a very clear-cut strategy anyway. They have a super defensive bot lane, make sure that Kramer's not going to get fed off the laning phase, and then a top side where they can find pretty much easy kills in combination with the the name escapes me from the champion. Kindred, yeah, with the Kindred, yeah.
Oh god, we're all blanking. It's fine. The interesting thing here for me, for IG, is that they prioritize so heavily on just having strong laners. Like blind pickable strong laners. You know that Syndra gonna do well into the Lissandra. Urgot as well. Honestly, I haven't seen the Urgot Yorick matchup. So I'm interested to see how that one turns out.
So what we've seen so far is that the Urgot just toe-to-toe with the sustain that he gets from the last rites can actually just take a straight-up fight against Urgot. Urgot this patch was nerfed a little bit. Armor went down, the Purge cooldown went up, so he doesn't have that many windows to trade, and when he does trade, he takes a lot more damage. So overall, we have seen the Yorick be a very good counter into the Urgot matchup. You can stand up to him and just fight him. If he has the Purge on, then you can lock him in with your Dark Procession. And actually, he needs to turn off his Purge to get rid of the wall and escape a gank like that. So there's a lot of fun things you can do in that matchup. And later in the game, you do become this split pushing monster with the Triforce, and nowadays you can actually take your maiden from one lane to the other. So they're probably the best League of Legends couple now, over Xayah and Rakan, I would say.
The true OTP there coming out. Every level 6, Yorick will bring her out. And now, Invictus Gaming versus LGD, Game 1. Can LGD pick up their first series win?
Oh, if it's over Invictus Gaming, that would be tremendous. I think Hangzhou would be electrified if that was the case.
Cheers coming out. Pretty loud for IG there. That's got to feel a little bit bad if you're LGD, but no surprise. World champions, you kind of have to expect that.
China is a fan of Invictus Gaming. That's all you need to know. So, unsurprising, even in Hangzhou's own arena, the chance will be a little bit louder.
Very silent level 1 here. Condi going to go for the solo level 1 blue. No surprise there. Predator as well. Everything so far, so standard.
I like how defensive that LGD was actually playing this early game. They did see the ward being dropped down into their own red, so they're actually taking the super safe route. Even if it costs them a couple minions, it's not going to cost them anything actually. But even if it delays their timing to lane, they're still going to walk around the red.
Oh, I love this Ning, yes. Oh, man. He's not going to catch Condi, but
good move by Condi.
That was... I'm kind of disappointed that Condi's smart enough to get away from it, because I really wanted to see that. But like you said, brilliant from Condi knowing, okay, Ning might just come in and super cheese me.
Yeah, and we've seen this from Meteor as well. If you're going to start your blue buff without a leash, everyone knows it. They have a ward on your red anyway. Then why not go for the level 2 invade? And both Meteor and Condi that we're seeing right now have thought about this, and they've evaded the ganks quite easily.
Oh my god. Lai's just getting absolutely destroyed by the Purge there.
Yeah, not much you can do when it's level 2 versus level 1. Condi might be in a little bit of trouble, though.
Yeah, he doesn't have ultimate. He can't get out of that CC for free. Condi chunked super low. Ignite ticking as well. That will force him out of lane. He is Olaf, so he can still jungle if he wants.
Yeah, it's pretty lucky to get out alive without using his flash. That was a 4-man collapse onto that position, and you could see on the minimap, Yuuki was nowhere in position to actually follow up on that. So I would say even though he does lose the mark and the scuttle over to Ning's Kindred, still pretty lucky.
Now, IG, after that little scrap with Condi, showing him his place, they're just going to reset into their lanes. West doing well so far with Baolan as well, but LGD have the experience advantage.
And yes, they do. Now we're going to take a look at the Yorick lane into the top side. He's been so overbuffed to the point that he's actually the most played champion when I checked OPGG this morning. The Morning Mist has received a bug fix, so you're no longer going to miss on the Morning Mist. I should say you can still miss, but if you do tag it, at least your goals are 100% going to fly towards your target. That wasn't the case before. The bug fix really did help him out, and also what he did get was that at max rank, you can get a grave from only 2 graves. You can get a grave from 2 dead enemies. So it speeds up his gold generation quite drastically. It's a 100% boost to his gold generation. So a monster split pusher right now in the meta.
Now Ning getting spotted out, looking to aggress perhaps onto the bottom side. But no such luck. LGD has good warding, and their bot lane staying safe for now. Granted, they're down 4 CS, but this is really all we needed to see from them to know that they have their hearts and minds in the right place for this game.
And so far, Invictus Gaming, they're going with their tried and true game plan, just win every single lane, and they're doing exactly that. And I think the question for LGD right now is, how can they actually hold on to their own jungle at this rate if the lanes are losing like this? But Rookie's out of position.
Oh, Rookie Predator as well, forced to flash and cleanse already. This might be first blood for Condi here. There it is, Undertow secures it.
Yep, a little bit of overextending coming in from Rookie. Looks like he wasn't expecting the gank path from Condi. You can see him pinging it out right there. I do think that so we do see Rookie did drop a ward on the right side, but probably my guess was Condi was simply too fast for him to react at that point.
Yeah, Predator gives you a little bit more move speed than most laners can handle, and now Rookie down both summoners still, but still up by 14 CS. So he got pushed out of lane, literally killed, and is still up more than a wave.
That's just the matchup. Not much you can do about it, but IG, they're looking for round 2, already setting up for this fight right here, and Condi is going to get collapsed on.
They're going for the pincer, the teleport coming in from LGD. This might actually be advantageous for them. West is forced out of the fight, so Condi, if he can get the undertow, flashes, but he goes a little bit short. Yuuki with the engage, gets the root down. Rookie might have 2 deaths in a row. There it is. Condi gets a second kill onto him, and now Ning getting body slammed. He's in trouble. The blast plan not going to be able to save him as Kramer picks up his first kill.
Are LGD actually going to do it? A 3-0 start against Invictus Gaming? You got to be kidding me.
This is weird. This is really strange because IG were really just giving it to him in the lanes, and then suddenly LGD are like, wait, they're getting super aggressive. They're getting super full of themselves.
To be fair, it actually looked like a good collapse. This is a 4v3, but look at West's HP. He's the AD carry and a big source of damage in the fight. He walks over towards the fight and gets tagged by basically every skill shot there is, forces it out, changes the dynamics completely, and IG basically find themselves in a situation where they have to back off. So I have to say it was a bit of a mistake from West taking the path that he did take. A lot of unnecessary damage taken. He wanted to get in on the collapse, but unfortunately probably needed to pay a little bit more attention to his pathing on that route. And Invictus Gaming just found themselves in a situation where their AD carry and their support were effectively over the wall and they were on the run.
And Yuuki with a really solid engage there as well to round things out for the team. And now it's starting to look pretty good for LGD. You know, we weren't expecting them to do quite this well. We were hoping that their bot lane would show a little bit more promise. Their bot lane would be their focus. And I mean, Condi 2-0-0, Yuuki 0-0-3, 1-0-1 for Kramer. This is about as good an early game as you can hope for, especially against IG. Question is going to be how they're able to transition it, because this is another place where LGD traditionally has fallen a little bit flat.
I wouldn't be so down on LGD. With a 3-0 start against anyone and Lissandra that can leave the lane, you can make anything happen. I feel like LGD, their game plan is super straightforward. You just start invading the jungle. You have that Olaf with a 2-kill lead. Basically, all the assists on Lissandra as well. It's a very sizable advantage.
Well, this is getting pinged out. I think IG are going to have the man advantage, so I don't suspect
RD,
it'll be
can you
contested.
steal it? That's the only way they can get it. You're spotted, RD.
He's just sitting there tanking the Ezreal damage. Okay. It will go over to Ning. He'll secure that Infernal Drake, but we'll see if LGD can get anything in response. Doesn't look like they have anything set up.
Yep, Olaf is a little too far away from the scene, so Yuuki is going to sit tight, just clear out his vision, go through the motions.
Condi's level 6 already, so he could look for a gank if he wanted to. The Ragnarok will allow him to really run anyone down, so maybe if he wanted to look bot, he could look onto Baolan. I don't think he'd be able to get west.
Ezreal's always a slippery one, and just like you mentioned, he's going straight for the kill. He's not popping his Predator until the last second. There you go.
RD goes in with a flash body slam, forces the flash out from west as well. That will end the engage.
I'm not sure if Baolan actually blocked the ultimate coming out, the explosive cask, but doesn't really look like it. I actually think RD just missed his ultimate, so he didn't get the pushback that he wanted for on west, and that play does fizzle. They do get a flash, however.
Now Ning going to respond on the other side of the map with the Scuttle Crab. Just going to keep his advantage going as much as he can. He's targeted Lies for death with the Kindred mark, so that might be what he's looking for, but IG see this gank coming from a mile away.
It's still advantageous for LGD, though. There's no one that's going to defend these turret platings.
This is exactly what we were hoping for from LGD today. You know, able to get already turret plating for themselves. Kramer ahead by 1 CS, a kill and an assist, so still looking good. However, IG have the CS lead mid and top. Ning has been getting the objectives. He secured the Infernal Drake earlier. So that's something that LGD are going to have to look for going forward. But I'm happy. I'm honestly happy with what LGD have been able to accomplish so far. I know it's early to be saying anything. It's 10 minutes in. But they've established a 1.2k gold lead.
This is one of those early game compositions. As long as you have a lead, it's almost 100% guaranteed that you can capitalize on it. There's just way too much crowd control on this composition. Lissandra, and you have Gragas coming in with a guaranteed stun once his flash is up. It's so easy to convert on these plays, and it's basically about how much you can get. That's the big question for LGD. They're going to have a play coming up sometime soon, and I want to see how they can do it. So you see the situation with the this is one of the reasons why Yorick does counter the Urgot so well, because you can lock the Urgot down once he's using his once he's in purge phase, and if he turns the purge off, that's a very, very long cooldown. You know, usually the Urgot maxes the Q, so you can do this basically. Whenever he's using his purge, you just lock him down.
Yeah. Forces the flash.
You get damage with him on the maiden, and you can back out, and he can't do anything to you.
That maiden damage, absolutely insane. She's not even being threatened because there's nothing Urgot can do to move up without risking getting that combo used on him once again. And if it happens one more time, I think he's just dead.
Yeah. Yorick is just such a massive hard counter, and I really think we're going to be seeing a lot more of him. I'm excited to see what he can bring in the meta, because he's going to finally kind of bring 4-1 split pushing back. We haven't really seen a good 4-1 split pushing strategy for quite a while right now. Jax was nerfed. Fiora is not being played as much as it could possibly be. Not a lot of tanks in the top lane either to really allow you to 4-1 anyway. But with Yorick against the Urgot matchup, you know, I want to see more 4-1.
It's really good play from LGD too, because they know that Lies Just pushing out. They know that he has the advantage. He forced Duke out of lane, so Condi says, cool, we have advantage on this side of the map. Let's take the Herald, keep it going. You know, like you said, they have a lot they can do with this composition, and they're doing it.
And I'm very surprised to find myself saying this, but it's going to come down to Invictus Gaming to find a big play to get themselves back in the game. First tower is out of the question for them.
Yeah, that tower is not long for this world now. Yuuki looking for the engage, potentially. Ning forced to flash already.
They're going to lose the tower right here.
There goes first tower. That's a lot of turret plating lost as well, and Rookie not going to be able to find anyone either.
Yep, bot side's having a great time. Yuuki does get hit.
He has the glacial path still. Good route. Keeps himself safe, and LGD get away with it. Oh, for now at least. But now the re-engage, they're looking for Yuuki. They're going to be able to get the ultimate. Good frozen tomb timing though. Ning in a lot of trouble. He's so low. The root from Yuuki, the ultimate. Lamb's respite is going to be there for the time being. Ning finally gets taken out. And now this is a spooky Yorick. He's able to get the slow with the undertow. And now the blast plant, they're still on the chase. Lies gets the W onto Duke. But they need to disengage because the bot lane's coming up.
Oh, so another lost fight on Invictus Gaming side. They chase so deep into the blue side jungle of LGD. Great block coming in from Lies. He does make sure that the Fear Beyond Death does not land onto Yuuki. Keeps his mid laner alive and finishes his chase down. You're gonna watch that again. I felt like it was a really good start of the fight for Invictus Gaming. They predicted the path from Yuuki, but great timing on that frozen tomb. Keeps himself alive. Rookie's ultimate does not do anything. And you can see as Lies comes in, he protects his mid laner at the same time. He's able to finish down the kill.
Now Lies has so much pressure in this top lane, and there's not a whole lot that IG can do to stop it. You know, Rookie no longer has that commanding lead in lane. The CS differential is only down to 9. The jungle matchup, Ning, yeah, sure, he's out farming him, but their team is down 3k gold, so LGD making away like bandits in this one. They might even be able to get pressure onto this next dragon.
Invictus Gaming, you have to wake up, you know. LGD has been known as a sleeping dragon, but not this game, not this time around. Invictus Gaming are the one that seem to be caught up a little bit rusty after the Chinese New Year. So 2-week break for most of China.
They're just going to give away the dragon as well.
Not much that I think they could have really done right there. It's definitely not something you want to contest at this point in the game.
This is actually kind of crazy. I'm still sort of in a dream state right now because I'm saying the following sentence. LGD are running away with the early game against IG.
And I'm not sure how Invictus Gaming are really going to come back. Sure, these players can make anything happen, but in terms of their composition, talk about the late game. Kai'Sa's the late game carry. She's supposed to win that out. Top lane is not going to get better for Duke anytime soon. And I feel like Syndra is just one of those picks that fall off in the late game. She's not really that effective after laning phase. So even IG's windows to come back into the game are very scarce and far in between. And even if you look forward to Ning, 9.2 is the patch where junglers can't really farm up to the levels that they used to. Experience has been hit across the board. So not a lot of outs for Invictus Gaming. They're going to have to go for some ridiculous outplays.
If there's any team that's capable of them, we know Invictus Gaming is.
For sure.
But LGD's rotating Lies down into the bottom lane, keeping pressure here onto the side lanes, and they're keeping up the momentum. The question is going to be how well they're able to execute from this point onward, because this no longer is clear cut, right? You've got the side lanes, both towers taken. Mid lane still available, so yes, that should be your focus, but there's also no more objectives left on the board, so it's up to good vision control and up to good side wave pressure.
The first step that Invictus Gaming could try to do is at least slow down Lies. He's got that first brick gold, he's got that kill underneath his belt. If this continues, then he's just going to get further and further ahead in the matchup, and that 4-1 split pushing pressure with the Maiden is going to be so massive for Invictus Gaming. They have to shut him down earlier. But Lies is actually playing this matchup really, really safe, not venturing it across the river.
Now Yuuki going to continue pushing up the mid lane here. LGD positioning around the top side of the map. They want to get a pick, maybe some vision into this red side jungle. Just try and keep pushing their advantage because they know Lies is going to keep pushing on his own. The Maiden is a constant presence in this game, just absolutely destroying wave after wave. And IG is forced to send either Rookie or Duke to respond, and without them, they don't have as much teamfight pressure. They don't have as much mid pressure.
I think this is one of those games where we could actually see the Maiden being left alone, breaking out of her bond to split push a lane by herself. I think that's how far LGD is in this game. Like, typically you do see the Yorick travel with the Maiden just for the extra damage.
Oh, Predator on Condi. He's looking for Duke, able to get the undertow.
I was a little bit ambitious, but they do get the tower for it.
Ooh, one hit away. That's unfortunate. RD looking for the cheeky flank. Not going to be able to find it, however. But Kramer farming up a storm now. Not quite to 2 items yet. He's still working on that Ginsu's Rage Blade, but once he gets it, it's going to be an even bigger threat. And good lord.
Oh, that damage was very insane.
Those zombies are angry.
Yeah. The Morning Mist going down with the full channel goals. Just jumping onto Rookie. He instantly pops his crowd control and escape to just get out of that. Yeah, that's probably not going to be a winning lane assignment for Invictus Gaming. I feel like they need to just kill Yorick as soon as possible. They can't let him across the river.
Now he's going to back. Keep the Maiden with him. Not going to send her off yet. And honestly, I feel like I like this decision personally, because I know you were talking about sending her off because she does have a lot of pressure. But I feel like what Lies gets from having her with him is security. Because, like, in a 1v1, who can challenge him when the Maiden is also putting out damage?
Oh, nobody. You're absolutely right about that point, but I just want to mention it as a potential play where you could break the bonds of a Maiden and just teleport to another lane and help the push go on.
Yeah.
So that is something that LGD does have in their back pocket.
And I suspect we might see that later on when they have actual pressure somewhere. Because right now, LGD are getting slight advantages and they're getting farm, but I feel like they don't have a lot of individual pressure outside of Lies, and they're just using the time to farm up Kramer.
The point about the 4-1 strategy is that it is a fairly slow strategy to play, and the main advantage you get is chip damage from your solo laners. So that's the big point we want to see. He has a very clear window to go straight up all the way to the inhibitor tower right now for Lies. I want to see how much damage he's able to trade off for this Ocean Drake.
Oh, I thought that was going to be a steal, but no, IG will secure it. Predator pop by Condi. He's looking for a chase, but Lies, oh my goodness, already on the tower. The Mist Maiden, very angry at that one. And this might just be the entire tower. Okay, not quite.
And if you look at Invictus Gaming, they had half a heart to head up and try to stop the Yorick. They're like, no, 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 there's already 2 people in our bot side as well. So LGD playing the map magnificently. I really like what Yuuki did in the mid lane as a Lissandra to kind of delay the back timings for Invictus Gaming. Make sure they have to make as hard as possible decisions all over the map. And once again, the 4-1 comes out ahead with chip damage on 2 towers at the same time. So even though Invictus Gaming do get that Ocean Drake, it's still in the favor of LGD. It's a good game plan, good team fight, team execution, and a lot of patience. That's the big thing that we were looking for in LGD, and they're showing it in spades.
Kramer now, 20 CS lead over his lane opponent. He's looking to back, so I suspect he has his Rage Blade, so he'll be hitting 2 items as well on Condi, and Lies might be looking to finish up that Sterix Gauge. And if all 3 of them get those items, these next few minutes are going to be very dangerous for IG. Just farming here from Kramer still. Honestly, I'm kind of okay with it. I just like seeing, I would like to see a little bit more work towards it. Get him in a lane, try and start the 4-1, because I feel like at this point Lies has enough pressure.
Now all they really need to do is group up as a unit 4-man and try to push down the mid lane tower. I think that's the one point on the map that's kind of stopping their progression so far.
But now, they're being slowed down a little bit. They need to find a little bit more purchase here. They're looking into the red side jungle. So as long as they keep staying proactive on vision, I'm kind of just happy with what LGD are doing, even if it's not like objectively the best, because so far, LGD are demonstrating a lot of skills that we haven't seen from them. They're able to keep this pressure on the sideline. They're able to play a slow game. This is something we legitimately going into this. We were like, okay, can LGD play slow? Are they physically capable of it? We weren't sure. But they're showing some brilliant slow play right now. 22 minutes in. They have no deaths. There's good engage there onto Baolan. Another stun. He should be dead. Good glacial fissure.
IG saves 2 people.
Might be able to pull it back with his team fight. Lamb's respite. Not going to be enough, but here suddenly IG lose 2. The double kill for Lissandra. Yuuki popping off, and now Duke in trouble. Gets the Fear Beyond Death onto RD. LGD will have to back off.
And Duke's still looking for more. He's actually walking forward, but is stopped by the Dark Procession. That's actually a fairly good trade for Invictus Gaming. They do stop the bleeding from happening. It looked like a very good catch for LGD early on. They found Ning alone in the jungle. There was a good collapse happening. But the play's still going.
Yuuki still wants it. Gets the root onto Duke there. Not going to be able to follow up. But they just want this outer tower. They finally want to take down mid.
I like the very aggressive disdain from Duke. Actually aims for Yuki's teleport location rather than backing off.
IG are able to stop the push from the mid lane, which means LGD still have not been able to take down this final outer tower. There's a lot of places they just don't have the freedom to walk right now.
I'm actually kind of surprised by this. I feel like LGD should have gotten that mid tower a little bit earlier. Yuuki goes in for the engage in this one. Does catch out Baolan, nearly gets the kill, but really good play from Ning here. It actually allows a lot of time for the IG members to kind of coalesce on this position. They do still lose the 2 members on that location, but Duke on the final side of it is able to get at least RD back for that 1-for-2, and they do stop the push for a while. So overall, even though the kill trade is in favor of LGD, I feel like that was a pretty good showing from IG in that round.
Yeah, LGD now. Kramer still deathless, able to pick up his second item now. Oh, they're going for the engage on a Ning. He doesn't have ultimate, forced to blow the flash, barely surviving.
Yeah, very close fight right there. I like the timing on that. They knew that Ning didn't have the Lamb's Respite, so it was safe to just go for the instant snipe kill. A little bit unfortunate they weren't able to secure it, but it was a very good play in terms of timing on RD's side.
Now, Kramer, so much damage with just the QW onto Baolan.
That's half health Braum already. I feel like this is the situation where LGD can say, you know what, you're on the losing side, I don't care about this Mountain Drake, I'm just going to go for your mid lane tower.
They could, but it doesn't look like they're quite ready to give it up just yet. A lot of damage here. The Mist Maiden being focused down by Ning. If they take this out, there's a lot of damage lost in the team fight. They're looking for the engage. Rookie able to get the stun, but Yuuki good frozen tomb to keep himself alive. IG might be on the back foot now. RD tries to get an engage, but Duke Fear Beyond Death onto 3, and now suddenly LGD, everything's gone sideways. They lose 2 and get none, and now IG looking to get back in the game.
And that's why I didn't want them to take risks. It was a bad concave for LGD as they funneled into the Dragon Pit themselves, and pretty much Invictus Gaming has erased the majority of their gold deficit in that one single fight. Just little misstep can cost you so harshly against a world champion.
And if they're able to pick up this Baron on top of it, that is suddenly everything gone wrong for LGD. The advantage they spent 25 minutes establishing, gone in a flash. But they do get the mid tower.
This has to be so disheartening, but I just hope that LGD can kind of remind themselves they're still in the driver's seat. Now, if we look at this fight, actually LGD has already chased IG members off. What I would want them to do is just go for the mid lane tower. Instead, they funnel their entire team into the Dragon Pit. It's a perfect concave. Look at Ning, he's dealing so much damage. Nobody's stopping him. Rookie's untouched in the fight, and then Duke goes in with the flash, execute 3-man fear, and that's it, boys.
That was all she wrote. But now, LGD resetting back in the mid lane. They've finally taken the 3rd outer tower, so they have a little bit positive coming out of this. However, Baron buff still on 5 members of IG. 2 minutes, 40 seconds remaining on that. It's a lot that can get done by a world championship team.
The driver's seat is just not a seat that LGD is used to taking. I feel like that's the issue right there. They might feel like they had the gold lead, but I don't think it was worth the risk to go for a 5v5 team fight. It was basically Invictus Gaming's only out, and in that scenario, you want to deny outs from Invictus Gaming. You want to choke them to the point where they can't fight back, and I just feel like taking the mid lane tower uncontested was such a superior play from what LGD decided, but they still have a chance.
Yuuki, the flash engage, Kramer following up immediately. That's the kind of proactivity I like to see. The double kill for the AD carry within seconds. And Ning
they're gonna go for more.
engaged on. There's the ultimate follow-up. Ning in a lot of trouble. RD gets feared beyond death, and the fear goes down to the one. Ning lands for spike, going to be enough to keep him alive for the time being. Finally gets popped down by Yuuki. Only RD going down, 2 Baron buffs remaining on IG, and just like that, LGD are back in it.
And that's the engage potential that we were talking about finally being put to use by LGD. There's just Yuuki with the leads he's gotten early game. This should have happened a little bit sooner, but they still finally make the play. And this is going to give them a lot more potential on the side lanes. There aren't that many Baron buffs, and I don't think you're going to be sending the Urgot or the Syndra. Like, those two guys are just not going to stand up 1v1 against Lies so far. So it really does allow LGD to get back into that 4-1 kind of cadence earlier.
Now IG able to get a little bit off their Baron buff, but they've lost so much in these back-to-back team fights. Baron buff only has a minute remaining, and I don't know if they'll be able to get it after this fight.
Oh, let's watch this. Beautiful vision detection coming in from Yuuki. Knows that that spot is probably warded. Decides to go over the long wall from the Raptor pit to catch West and Baolan off guard. And just look at that flash. That's the LMS flash that I'm talking about. You know, the LMS region always been known for the Gragas plays. Even though he didn't get a full knockback, he still is able to get a trade onto Ning with his own life.
Really enjoying this play from LGD. They've shown that they understand what their advantage is at this point. They're trying to bring it back. And split-second decision-making that isn't a throw is so impressive from them at this point because, again, the last time they took a risk, we saw them lose pretty much everything. It was a dragon fight where they got so many wiped, and then suddenly that turned on the Baron. But now they're not afraid to take another one. So LGD, back in the driver's seat now. Baron buff has expired. They're still up 3k gold. They're still tied in dragons. They're still up kills. They're up towers. They've still got this.
Yeah, they still have a very good chance to close out the game, and they also have an Infernal to set up for them. So there's a lot of things to look forward to. I think they're going to try to replicate the engage that they found earlier on. That was just beautiful to watch from Yuuki. He knew that the Raptor pit must have been warded, so he takes a route that people just don't expect. You can't see the claw going over, claw inside the wall with the ward that Invictus Gaming placed right there. So they were able to find that quick, easy 2 kills onto the bot side, and now they're forcing Invictus Gaming into hard decisions.
Now the top side Lies putting so much pressure onto that tower, and now IG looking for the Infernal Drake. Half health, and I don't think LGD want to full engage onto this. They're chunking out Baolan as best they can, but Yuuki decides otherwise. He goes in the frozen tube. There's so much damage onto IG, but they've turned it suddenly. IG are still alive. West finally gets taken down, but IG got so much from this fight. Ning still alive. Condi and Lies the only ones remaining for LGD. Somehow everything went wrong when it looked so good, and Duke picks up the kill. A near ace, and LGD get destroyed.
How are Invictus Gaming doing this? Everything was on the side of LGD. You saw the initial burst come out from Kramer. It looked like game over, but Rookie, with the hero scatter of the week, is able to stop the damage and instantly kill Kramer. I think that was the game-winning play right there. If he just got one more auto attack off, I'm not even sure Ning could have had his Lamb's Respite up soon enough. That would have been just a full team blown away by the damage coming out from Kramer. He's been farming this entire game, but instead Invictus Gaming, they turn it around and they get another teamfight win. Incredible play.
And Baron's up at 30. This is the disaster happening all over again for LGD.
Yeah, and it's so hard to believe that this is happening. It was a really good engage coming in from Yuuki. He gets the 2-man stun. Watch Kramer as he goes in, but he's instantly taken out by Baolan as well. The stun putting him into mid-air before he can even get an invisibility on that supercharge. And IG are able to turn the fight around with Ning and Lamb's Respite. They keep so many members alive. Only West going down there. How's that even possible? That's... You know, in the Chinese casting, they would call that teamfight unscientific.
That's certainly a word I could use for that one. Very interesting, we'll say there, from LGD. Unfortunately, they were just absolutely outplayed. Ning showing some good R button pressing, and West barely surviving for so long. But now Baron is available, and IG are looking for it. They want to bring it back after LGD. Oh, but again, Yuuki with the killer engage. He gets them time after time,
rookie.
And they still have the success in this fight. Ning getting chased down. Kramer putting out all the damage for his team. Duke still alive, as is Ning, but it doesn't matter. Duke goes down. Ning and West, the only two remaining for the team. And LGD, once again, keep themselves in it.
LGD, they have that Lamb Respite cooldown on AT. They know exactly when it's going to come up.
Forcing the Lamb's Respite just from the W of Lies, and now Ning getting popped. Lies hitting him with the Q, shovel to the head, burying him 6 feet under.
A straight up engage from Yuuki over the wall once more. They knew that Ning didn't have his ultimate. They were clear to go full on in. And Invictus Gaming, they just couldn't back out of the situation fast enough. I like the decisiveness coming out from Yuuki, the young assassin mid lane player, finally showing up big in this matchup against Invictus Gaming.
This is crazy. This is actually so insane from LGD. Every time it looks like they're down and out, every time you think they'd get discouraged, they keep going for more plays. They keep staying in the game. And now the Baron buff, the last vestige of hope for IG, taken away by LGD.
I'm not so sure after these couple of team fights. I wouldn't say that just out loud yet. Invictus Gaming came back from 7K deficits. Let's watch how that fight happened. Oh, so they do spot West backing? Is that the scenario? So they do know it's actually a 4v5 situation, and once West leaves the battlefield, they go all in. They know that they have the numbers advantage. They know that Ning's ultimate is not up, and they just wipe the floor with Invictus Gaming.
It's a little thing, but I also love the positioning from Kramer there with the killer instinct. He was sitting on the very edge of the fight so that he could still get an angle onto Duke, but wasn't threatened by anyone else. And even if Duke turned, he was within safe distance. It's a little thing, and it seems obvious, but it's so important at this stage of the game for LGD.
Oh yeah, Kramer in the previous team fight, he knows what getting too close to rookie gets you. So really keeping his distance there, and that turnaround was just insanely fast. That's what I love about the LPL. Death really does happen in a heartbeat here.
Now LGD have the Baron buff on all 5 members still. 2 minutes left. They're pushing into the bottom lane. Mid lane inhibitor already taken. Now, if I ever saw a time for them to split the lanes, it would be now, but no teleport available for Lies. So a little bit too dangerous.
They are going to group up together, get Yuuki over the wall, just to scare Invictus Gaming, keep them on their toes. I think the problem for LGD right now is that they're running quite a short-range composition, so sieging as 5 probably isn't the easiest thing in the world.
LGD, yeah, they just don't really have the wave clear necessarily, too, because IG are able to just push back wave after wave. But no, Yuuki, you cannot get caught out right now. He's still alive. The aftershock keeping him up there. Frozen Tomb, and Ning getting chunked so hard. Redemption going down, but Ning still risking a great ultimate from RT, and now they have the Elder Drake.
Kramer coming in?
LGD need to turn this if they want to go for a fight, but instead they're going to look for the disengage, keep the buff going.
Beautiful Dark Procession there by Lice is just zone out the entire fight. He got that entire ramp cleared out, and quite impressive fight by LGD. That was a 2-3 split. One of the hardest things to do in League of Legends is actually coordinate a split where 2 people are zoning off the rest of the team, and they still managed to get the Elder Drake from that as well. Really impressed by that. I don't think that if you asked me if LGD would be able to do this a week ago, I would have said no way.
You could have asked this. You could have asked this question for the past like 2 or 3 years, at least the past 2. Because last year, no way would you expect this upset. This year, we haven't seen any sign that LGD was even remotely capable of this. And suddenly, coming out of the gate running, they're suddenly pushed IG to the brink. They're up 5k gold. They have a Baron buff and an Elder against the world's winners from the previous year. This is absolutely insane. This team doesn't even have a win in a series yet. And they're threatening IG.
Yeah, it's Invictus Gaming. They have to take a long, hard look at themselves. But for LGD, great game so far. This is going to be their final push with the Baron buff. 12 seconds left. Can they actually do anything with it? Not yet, but I like how they're moving back into the 4-1 split push formation. They do have Lies in the top side, pretty much unopposed with Duke there.
They just need to find a way to get into the fight. They need to get the damage. Ooh, good ultimate from RD, but the cast won't split them off hard enough.
Yep, just went a little bit sideways, didn't find any single target. He might have been looking for West right there. West does get tagged with an undertow.
Top side, Duke's getting threatened by Lies. Suddenly Ning is going to have to respond as well. This will be all 3 inhibitors going down in just a second. Oh, they get the kill onto Ning. Lies is just winning everything top side. Yuuki comes in, gets the root onto 2. West is trying to put out the damage, but he's being threatened.
Here comes
and
Kramer.
Kramer goes in. Rookie, IG, all being routed back to base. A great scatter the weak, puts down tons of damage, but will it be enough? The 3rd inhibitor goes down. LGD still alive, still kicking in the fight, and they might be able to take the Nexus. It is full health still in LGD. They're getting forced off for now. The teleport coming in from the flank. They need to just make a play for the Nexus. Teleport comes in from Lies. He's got 1 Q. He's got 2. The Nexus is at half health. And LGD have taken a game against the world champions.
And I can't believe how fast Lies was able to finish off that Nexus. That Nexus still was at full health, but a straight teleport into the base cleans up the game. That looked dicey for a moment right there. I felt like Kramer actually mispressed on the Zonia stasis right there. He could have finished the team right then and there. Probably a misstep, but at the end of the day, Lies comes in and swoops up the win with the power of Yorick 9.2.
LGD have yet to have a series win. They have only won 2 games out of the 10 they've played, and they just beat the world champions.
And this was a roller coaster of a game right here. You could still see the freshness, the greenness of LGD as a roster. This is a complete new remake for them. Condi's new, Kramer's new. There's a lot of moving pieces. But what I was really impressed about was, number 1, they actually managed to get out of the laning phase ahead in most of their lanes. That really hasn't happened. Number 2, they played the 4-1 split push with a lot of patience. They were able to slow the pace down, grind out advantages, get that chip damage down, and finally when things were on the line, when it looked like IG was about to make a comeback, Yuuki with the big plays on the Lissandra, able to close out with his champion advantage. That's just so many things in a row that I did not expect out of LGD.
The game was by no means perfect, but LGD have shown something that they have never shown before. They have shown that they are able to go toe-to-toe with arguably still the best team in the region. And I don't want to blame this one on IG faltering. I don't want to blame this one on Jackie Love not being there, because LGD deserve this.
Oh, they definitely do. LGD, they played out of their minds. I haven't seen this type of play for them in a long time. There was coordination, there was patience, understanding of tempo, there was good macro play. I just think that they used their Chinese New Year break very, very well. This is a team that suddenly I'm looking forward to. We always call them the sleeping dragon, but I think their eyelids might just be peeled a little bit open.
They're looking to wake up, and they're looking to get their first series win, potentially even next game. We'll be back with Game 2 of IG versus LGD.